TSM have shown their new face where Wild Turtle's aggression, adding that to the team, has sparked Reggie back to his old self. People kind of forget that Reggie was the original North American player that was like, he had like 20 memes across the internet where it was like, yeah, I'm aggressive style, bro, or whatever it was with the sunglasses, and it's really reignited that in Reginald and take TSM really back to their base.
Sometimes you need that, like Reginald has said multiple times, this switch for them is a breath of fresh air. It's motivation. It's even the other day when, you know, we met with all the players, everybody went out to dinner and whatnot. TSM was upstairs playing games, they were practicing, and everybody else was having fun. So their priorities definitely changed around here mid-season. We'll have to see what they can do as they are about to head up. Team Solo Mid versus Dignitas coming in as they're loading into the game. Moving to the third here in Kobe, bringing you the 5th LCS matchup of the day here, and we look to get on to Summoner's Rift.
So I was talking about how Reggie used a lot more aggression. Now I think if he roams very early, as soon as he's level 6, we'll probably see him looking to roam and warding up a lot of the middle of the river. Because if he can get the edge there and get those first kills like we saw in the opening weeks with Wild Turtle, then they can really use that snowballing tactic that they've tried now.
So, Crumbs in the jungle on Nasus. Wow. Odd one on to Volibear. Looks like, again, we're going to have those personal wards set up by everybody. None laid down just yet. Looks like Dignitas actually pushes ahead a bit here to see some vision on any exits or entries.
And we have a cloth 5 start from Dyrus, from Dyrus, yeah, on Rumble. That means he has no ward of his own top lane, and Xpecial is not coming up to drop one for him. So Dyrus is going to be pretty much blind up here in the top lane, and Kiwi Kid just wants to take him head on. This could be dangerous for him. If Crumbs makes an early visit top lane, then they can easily pull out a kill on a Rumble with just Flash.
So that's when it's safe. You feel safe ganking a Rumble then?
Yeah. If they have no vision and you know where the jungler is, then I would go for it. But you're right. That is one of the scary junglers. The only thing is, Renekton is pretty much the same thing, and he's got a red elixir. So red elixir burst damage is really strong early game, even against a cloth armor.
Wow, 9-2 starting in mid for Reginald on potions as well for him. And we have the red 5-1 coming in for Skara, so we'll see a lot of aggression between those two, or at least a long early laning phase in that farm before they go back. Looks like bottom lane, Wild Turtle grabbing up some Cutie Pie, getting Mystic shots in, playing actually very aggressive here without a ward for himself and no support yet. But he looks like he has vision of the other lanes and he's able to do that quite easily. Just a little bit of harass, and that's kind of going to help him make that getting them level 2 a little bit easier. It won't be an all-in now. Yeah,
he tried to just poke around there. It looks like Sona's going to go help Odd One up here, so he'll be a little bit late too. Patoy also helping with the blue buff there. Both AD carries basically going to just farm up the first couple levels, because you're never sure if the other AD carry support is hiding in that bush.
Waiting to just chunk you down. With Patoy, it would be that death sentence, so it is something that would make a huge factor in this game. Nobody really trading damage yet, even as they get to lane here and just try to do, or at least in the other lanes, the bottom lane, getting as many pokes in as possible.
Kiwi Kid going aggressive early on Dyrus in that top lane. He's probably called out to Crumbs by now that there was no ward from Dyrus, since Dyrus went cloth 5, and that's all of your money that you can spend. It looks like Crumbs not going to go for the early gank though. He's going to continue farming his jungle, and it's pretty good that he does that because Odd One's in the vicinity.
It looks like you see Dignitas playing this one a lot safer after spending 750 gold on elixirs throughout the entire team. Even Skara said, you know, walking around, and after the interview I believe they said it too, losing that fight pretty much allowed them to carry that game.
Yeah, they put a lot of emphasis on the early game here. It's so much money spent on consumables that oh, here we go, they're going to gank onto Kiwi Kid. He walks right through a ward, so at least TSM knows now that there is a ward.
Oh, Cutie Pie going aggressive down bottom. Wild Turtle getting good heals coming in from Xpecial, and they are completely winning this trade.
I'm a Cutie Pie holding on to that red elixir for that trade. So that's the important thing. You got to keep it in the back of your mind. He still has his flash, he still has his cleanse, he still has that burst of HP when he pops the elixir.
I really think he'd love to get that exhaust off Xpecial and just shift out of it. Xpecial looking to get some damage in with more pokes. There's the level 3 and level 3. Patoy is level 2. It's not going to matter too much. He has the crowd control. He needs a Reginald. One more hit. It's going to be the body slam coming in from Skara. First blood.
There goes the first red elixir from Dignitas. Well worth it right there. Scar grabbing some money for himself, but look at the gold difference. Only about 300 here, and Crumb's been camping this top lane. He wants to make a move on Dyrus.
So this is going to allow Odd1 to kind of farm up that middle and get himself some more CS, but that does hurt Reginald, and that does hurt Dyrus. That mobility for that lane, he is not going to be able to get help from the Odd1 as he is mid, so that gank top could work. I
was definitely talking about you don't want to gank from Rumble lane until you have vision of the other jungler. Now they have that vision I was talking about, and he's in position. If Kiwi can start it up with a stun,
almost getting it. He actually stunned during the animation. They're still going to go hard on this one. It's going to be Kiwi Kid taking it down. Flashes out, but the hit goes down. And that's exactly what you said too, Kobe. Rumble's the one to turn it around.
Yeah, it's that AoE damage. Good job right there by Dyrus. Kiwi just a little bit too aggressive, takes some tower hits, and he pays for that one dearly.
A great turnaround there to now make it 1-1. That 600 gold actually going in favor of TSM right now. It's going to be coming in through creeps just about. Batoy and Cutie Pie still getting very pressured back by this poke bottom lane. Reginald returns to lane, and Skara knows he can bully him out and continues to do so with auto attacks.
So they Crumbs and Kiwi Kid up top got that flash out. And they're like, okay, that was pretty much a free flash. We didn't even take any damage for it. They could have backed off right there, but they wanted to finish it off because he landed the Wither. And now Dyrus is in a commanding lead because he went cloth 5. So he still has a cloth armor. He's got an item, whereas Renekton's red pot was popped. It's going to be ticking now, and as soon as that runs out, he's going to be at a very large disadvantage.
In that situation, all worked great for Dyrus. He actually just leveled, equalized his lane out, and pushed it. You can see Kiwi Kid trying to throw it back in his turret's face. So we're going to get him backing, get some good buys on Dyrus. Actually goes quickly for that health pot, goes for the Doran shield. Dyrus loves that Doran shield, and it is such a good pickup for just a bit of armor in that regen.
Very good early game item. I even like Gambit Edward. He picked it up on the support for bullying that bottom lane. That was a very good pickup right there. I like the efficiency on that item, and it's a good addition, even though it's not quite as far as going for an elixir, which is huge early game power. It's kind of the middle road, because at least you get to hold on to it, and it's a lot more armor to deal with that Renekton. He's trying to just beef up so that he can continue to snowball this lane and use his aggression. And look, he's level 6 now, so it's going to be very dangerous for Kiwi Kid.
And what's cool about that, the Doran shield, is that he's actually built that at 13-14 minutes when he had an extra 500 gold to throw in there. So kind of always helpful up until partially getting towards mid-game. Scar going off. Looks like they're going to put some pressure here onto the Dragon. They don't have vision of the Odd One yet. He has actually just crossed a ward as I say that. So we could have a little bit of a 2v2 here.
Scar just chasing off the bear right there. Nobody actually taking hits, but they're posturing very well.
So they see each other. They know it's possibly going to be a dragon, but I think there's too much knowledge for each team, and they're going to go ahead and say maybe in the next 3 minutes when somebody's out of position. See Dyrus pushing in that top. Mega Zero, both Renekton and Rumble. Yep, Mega Zero came into my brain.
He's gonna be
we have the Negatron cloak on Kiwi Kid right now, so he's trying to just do all he can to tank up against Dyrus.
Not quite rich enough for the Negatron cloak. He's got the baby version.
Oh yeah, no magic
mantle. But he's still getting bullied. Look at this, the power of Dyrus. I also want to point out that Reggie, even though he got bodied by Skara, got the kill down there, he's keeping up in that CS. He's actually leading in the CS, which is really, really important for that mid lane. He's able to shove it in, and Skara going over to get the blue buff, lost out on only 1 creep.
This is going to be big for Skara soon. Level 7, he knows he's going to be quite ahead of almost everybody. Reginald is 7, but he's definitely not putting up what Skara can right now with those 2 Dorans coming in with that damage of just a burst in that ultimate. Scar's going to start roaming. These lanes are going to get a lot of pressure soon.
Yeah, and I was talking about the importance of Reggie's roam.
Yeah.
Skara can actually roam a lot quicker on Gragas because he does have that body slam that you can use just to gain distance. Since he has a blue buff, this is a prime 1 kill. Might just stick around there and try and get another.
Well, knowing Reggie is such, if you can keep that going, then there's no reason to stop it.
This bottom lane too, I just have to shout out Wild Turtle. He's got no boots. He went with the very early BF sword on top of his Doran's blade. Since he didn't buy the early elixir, he has a lot more power in his inventory right now than Cutie Pie. And Cutie Pie is just bullied all the way back to his secondary turret right there. Not only did they take the first one, but they were able to ward up the dragon with pink wards. So they have vision of the dragon. They have control over that area, and it looks like Crumbs, or excuse me, I'm doing the exact same thing. Odd One on the volley bear gonna go down there, and they're going to
Crumbs is-
start this one up. At least he's in the game. Yeah, that's close.
So they're going for Dragon here, and you know, we kind of saw Dignitas do this up to 25 plus minutes at MLG. It was Scara, it was Cutie Pie not buying boots, and we see, you know, now Turtle not buying boots. They don't really have the speed up that Dignitas had last time, but Xpecial can work with that speed aura, so it's really safe for Turtle here.
Yeah, I really like when you do win that bottom lane. The extra warding definitely comes into play. You can see the defensive ward, very important, that Patoy placed at his blue buff. Sees this coming in, Dyrus now under pressure.
It's getting some damage down onto him. He's level 8 to the 6 and 7, but it's not going to be enough. They're just able to keep him in the Spirit Fire. A great lockdown there. 10 minutes more pressure down onto the bottom lane. Now Patoy forced to flash, and that spells a gank coming up soon. Once the jungler sees that, he knows he wants more, and it looks like they're going to be able to drop this turret too, Kobe.
Scara pulling out the back line of creeps, so the rest of TSM are tanking up his turret. Odd1's okay with it though, because he still has his passive. There's an extra 30% regen left in that bear.
Like they're still just trying to wave clear here. Scar is doing what he can. He's trying not even to enter the lanes. He knows he needs to be somewhere else right now. That 2 plays at one time is kind of hard.
Yeah, it's a good sign for Dignitas that they at least were able to end the reign of terror that Dyrus was just wreaking upon Kiwi Kid up top. He called for the gank. They got a successful gank off, and they were able to take a turret. It just so happens that TSM answered with a secondary turret.
Really, this game seeming like it's been going on quite a long time. Everybody moving, doing stuff. We've only lost 3 turrets in the game, but it's just been back and forth. We now see Dyrus finally leaving that top lane. Looks like we're going to start get a little roam from everybody here as we take stock of the score. 95 to 96 for your mid laners in CS. That's going to go to Scar right now with 1 kill. But again, they really haven't put those core items yet into effect. It looks like Reginald's actually going to go for an Abyssal Scepter first because of what Scar was able to do in that early game. So already 1 lane of TSM adapting to what's happening. The other one seemed to be doing all right. Top lane Dyrus doesn't seem to be losing that one, so there's an even one for him.
Looks to me like Cutie Pie adapting as well. Since he was behind, he went for a BF sword buy instead of doing what he's been known for, which is rushing the Blade of the Ruined King on Ezreal sometimes, because he likes that on hit. He likes to apply that with Mystic shots. He's actually changed it up. He needs that raw damage because he got behind so much, and because Wild Turtle's already ahead of him. He's working on Infinity Edge. If you have to go the gap, that's 1,000 gold combine for a Blade of the Ruined King. It's a lot of mid game where you lose out on pressure, where you're going to get the Blade of the Ruined King the same as an Infinity Edge, and when Infinity Edge just does so much more consistent damage, it looks like Kiwi Kid not going to go in on that.
Dyrus has a good amount of wards, so you can see he knows the aggression he can put onto this fight right now. Nobody's coming down the river. If they come from blue, he's got that scrap shield to get out fast. The ultimate just missing from Wild Turtle. They should have a good amount of pressure to put on this turret, though. Xpecial should take a bit of damage, but be able to make it out of this one. They are going to turn. Crescendo goes out onto Patoy, and he goes down. Crumbs throws down the ultimate. He does not put down the ghost yet. They're going to chase just a little bit here. They are going to get Xpecial onto this one. It will either be one more Wither or a Mystic shot he puts himself into, and it looks like they come up 1 for 1.
Oh, Patoy gone fishing. Now,
the
Kiwi Kid versus Dyrus.
There it is. Kiwi Kid throwing down the ultimate. He knows he doesn't have it, but it was the burn. That the ultimate silence coming out from Dyrus, rather, on his overheat, and he just couldn't get the damage down.
We also have a needlessly large rod for Scar, which is a giant boost to their wave clear. So Dignitas actually have great wave clear. Not only do they have the Spirit Fire from Nasus, but Scar's got great AoE as well, and he's going for some more exchanges with Reggie in this middle lane, even with the shield up.
You can see Scar just kind of waiting on the cooldowns. He knows what he's doing. He has that defense coming in from Drunken Rage. Forced to flash there. Scar is definitely ahead. He sat there auto-attacking Reginald through his abilities. Dyrus kind of getting himself in a sticky spot. A great grab by Patoy. He gets the flash out of him as well, so they are just giving themselves little advantages here to continuously work on the equalizer going to the backside there. Dyrus gets shut down here, doing as much damage as he can, though, before he goes up.
All right. Patoy catches something he can handle this time. They get a free kill right there. Very nice.
It doesn't work the first time. You got to try again. This one, again, going over to Scara, and he's just going to be able to hang out in that mid lane. Hasn't been able to get on top of Reginald and CS, though, so kudos to him for really keeping that lane even.
I'm a Cutie Pie also finished his Bloodthirster as they hook Odd1 into the turret. Only 1 turret hit, not going to be too bad. Reggie going in fairly aggressive.
And that's Reginald, right? Absolutely coining the aggressive term, and we can see why right there. Wild Turtle getting the damage on the turret as soon as possible as he was in range. They are completely working on everything they have, not letting it sit there for a second and just get stale.
You see what Xpecial did? As soon as they finished that turret, drops a ward down in that mid lane. I've seen this a whole bunch from teams pretty much in every scene, actually, North American as well as overseas, a lot of the Asian teams and the European teams. It's been very popular to place those lane wards as soon as you can get past the first turret, because it gives you so much vision of where the rest of your opponents are going to come from, any kind of sneaks that they are going to plan before they get into position.
So last game we saw that, Volibear didn't buy the Modrons coming out. He went for the Spirit Zone. We see that on Nasus just usually. Why that over the Modrons anyways?
I mean, it's a preference.
Okay.
I mean, there's so many more options with the Spirit Stone. If you get a Madrets, then it's a lot. It's basically a huge boost to your clear time very early. But in the end, when you have a Spirit Stone, you can upgrade that into a lot of things. You can get Tenacity if you want from the Golem upgrade, or you can get even, as we've seen Diamond do once or twice. He got the Spell Vamp from the the Spectral Wraith.
Collar.
Actually, Insect actually did that as well one time at Dallas. You have just so many more options with the Spirits there.
All right, we'll have to see what he turns it into. It looks like he's facing the bulwark for building that first. Skara getting himself out cleanly on the Lantern toss. Reginald putting himself in the middle of the fight. It looks like he takes a bit of damage for his team. So they are not too bad off in the initiation here. If they can continuously position themselves better, that could have been a good fight here. Dignitas wants to reinitiate Skara with that blue buff. He can put out so much damage, and he sees 75% and now a 50% health bar from one ability. And that's why I'm saying these guys just want to go in. Xpecial, Wild Turtle, they share just about the same amount of health right now.
And I like that Reggie's going for the Abyssal Scepter very quick, because there's so much magic damage on Dignitas. Here they go, Kiwi Kid engages.
Kiwi Kid into the middle of the fight. Reginald from the side there. It's going to be Cutie Pie on the outside. He is going to be doing up some damage here, but it is not going to be enough. They're able to just turn this one around. 3-2 so far in the fight. Looks like Reginald will finally fall as the Dragon getting a little bit of action on this one. Cutie Pie goes for the attack, but he goes down as well from the Ignite there, and it looks like big time Dyrus coming up.
Yeah, the red buff burn right there. Great to have doubles on Rumble. They're able to get the Dragon off this because it's an ace. Both of them were running away from the Dragon for a second. They're like, oh, well, we aced them. There's nobody left up. We can take down this PvE battle easily.
The Cutie Pie was just on the outside, but we can see how he hasn't had the time to stack any damage up. I was like, he's going to do so much, and he got taken out. And the Dragon kind of just hit everybody and started doing all the damage for them. A great fight coming in there. 27,000 to 22,000 gold right now at 7-7. And that Dragon is going to be going over to Team Solo Mid, so that helps them with their 3-1 and the turret push coming in. We'll have to see where they take it from here as a few items getting finished. We do see that.
So Cutie Pie had got that Bloodthirster instead of going his Blade of the Ruined King route, but it wasn't even fully stacked.
Right.
After dying, it's only at 11 stacks now, so that means it was at 22 at the time. He had just barely gotten that. He hadn't had time to farm it up, and the Infinity Edge already from Wild Turtle. There's just such a huge power difference between these AD carriers right now. Varus already brings so much to the fight with his CC and his percentage damage. He's also got Infinity Edge, means that Wild Turtle is just really a huge difference in the team fights.
And you can see just how much everyone takes from a team fight. They knew the damage Cutie Pie did there. Reginald saw that, and he is taking that into his own hands right now. It is going to be Crumbs there. He puts the Wither down, but that's only going to slow down Reginald if he can get another jump in. He is not going to be there. No, he gets stopped up in the mid-jump from the toss. Great job by Pertoy to lock him up.
Maybe they don't want Reggie to go back to his roots. A little aggressive. This is last game. He went a little bit too aggressive middle or top and dove a turret. Paid for that with his life. Now he's looking for another 1v1. They didn't quite have vision of the rest of the team, so it's fairly risky. At least they're able to trade that top turret.
Dyrus bouncing over the stun here from Kiwi Kid. It looks like he's just going to try to waddle out of this one. I don't think he's going to be able to make it. No, they see the rest of the team coming down. Even I was tunnel visioned on that one. I thought Dig was going in.
Pertoy's recalling right now, but Cutie Pie is still pushing. He wants to farm the rest of his Bloodthirster stacks while he's putting pressure on this bottom.
And it's great play by Dignitas in the first place to realize Cutie Pie didn't have any wards down there. There were 3 members that went down to take out Reginald. Not even he was expecting them all to be there. So Dignitas is really playing smart right now. Knowing they're a bit behind, they got to make some moves.
I do like that the team-oriented build from Crumbs is coming to fruition. That he's got his Runic Bulwark, rush that thing very quickly because Dyrus had done so well. That's an AP, and then they have Reggie in the middle. This double AP comp. You need to get that magic resistance aura up as quickly as possible to give you a fighting chance.
And QE finally got the Negatron.
There we go.
There we go.
He's got both of them now. He's upgraded into the Hex Drinker, feeling pretty good.
Look at this. Dyrus building up the Zonias instead of really going for just kind of a Rylai's harass-heavy build.
It'll be interesting to see the next thing that TSM wants to group up on, because they're feeling like they have the upper hand right now. Even though in-game you can see they're like, oh, we're 7 to 8 kills. They're still playing aggressive, and they're still feeling like they're ahead, which is true. They have a large gold lead from those dragons and those global objectives, so they're pressuring all over, and they want to catch out Skara.
So looking at Patoy, he does not have the oracles. A great ultimate there, kind of thwarts the flip, but he's still forced to flash out. Not a huge for Gragas to be missing his flash, can still get a good initiate in, but it's something the Dignitas is going to have to ponder as they come into this next fight. Like you said, that Bulwark is finished. Core item for Skara coming in as the Rabadons. Just still the Bloodthirster and kind of the Zeal behind it, which is giving him a bit of help, but there's just too much burst damage for Cutie Pie's Thirster to really take effect right now.
You can see TSM has warded very deep in Dignitas jungle on the upper side, so they can contest the next red buff or just bait out around Baron. Since they have the upper hand, their AD carry is the one with the Infinity Edge plus Zeal combo. They can use this vision advantage to try and bait Dignitas into a bad spot. The only thing is, Patoy, known for landing clutch hooks. If he grabs the right person and pulls them in, that could be all that Dignitas need to turn this around. They're certainly not out of this. They definitely have a fighting chance, especially with that death cap you're talking about with Skara. He can burst someone down very quickly.
We've seen Skara just take a Baron solo before with Gragas, so it's still anybody's matchup. It is quite a hard thing to do with the minimal amount of damage you're getting from a barrel, but it has been done. 7 to 8 here, as you were saying, 21 to 14, and you know, at a 4 to 5,000 gold lead, that's not what you consider at 7 to 8. Remember, I was asking MIA, did you realize you were up 20,000 gold? The score was still close, and they're like, no, we don't. So I guess it is, really hard for these players to tell. And he said it's not something we focus on; it's the next objective. And what is that going to be for these guys, Kobe? It looks like they're hovering top, and nothing really in their sights right now.
Well, it is going to be TSM making the vision play. They got X Special. He popped his oracles now, so he's clearing out around Baron, and they really have to be careful. A Baron dance versus a Patoy on Thresh and a Scar on Gragas is very dangerous. Scar has actually stolen Barons with just his Gragas double barrel combo before, and you always have to be wary of that.
Something very scary. Dyrus now in the front here, trying to clear it out. His build just compromised of the Haunting Guys, Sork Boots, and into the Zonias, so he can kind of be a pest, but it's not going to be that catch Rylai's build we were talking about just a few ago. The Bulwark trying to come out now onto the odd one a little late, and it looks like also a Zonia's trying to be built up on Reginald here, so they're a bit ways off of their core items. Not too much gold in their pocket right now either, a lot of them under 500 gold.
It's interesting, Cutie Pie looks like he might be going for that Trinity Force in this new patch where it's a little bit cheaper, a little bit more cost effective. They took some off of the Sheen combine cost there, so if he does go that route and turns that into a Phage and then a Sheen as well, he can have a nice mid-game power boost right there, having the ability to kite. Looks like Crumb's going to go for something. He's ghosting in on the back.
Super ghosting. They think they can get Reggie, but it's going to be a nice Electro Harpoon to slow them down there. So a ghost is out. Oh, they find Patoy on the backside. He throws down the ulti for the super slow. Is it going to be enough? Odd1 finds himself going down. Kiwi Kid has a lot of control over this fight right now, and he is putting down some damage. Dignitas to follow up behind. It's going to be a defensive Zonias, and it's going to be a dead Dyrus coming through. 10 to 7. Dignitas starts to pick up some movement speed.
That is how you deal with a volley bear. They bursted him down before his passive went off, and special gets by Patoy, but flashes out.
Looks like they're continuing to push this one down, Kobe. Special still trying to go around. He has Crescendo, so they do have that up on a disengage here on the fight. Dignitas could easily go in for more damage. Reginald also wanting the damage, though. You can see him throwing on the shield.
That was actually, we were talking about Patoy landing a hook and then having Scar follow that up with a burst combo. Patoy didn't hook anyone. He just got Reggie to dive in on him, and he was like, okay, here we go, I'm boxing up, and Scar just bursted him down right there. That death cap really working out well.
There it is, another dragon going down in the game here. 24 minutes in. Dignitas really starting to gain some ground here after that first part of the matchup. Not really going in anyone's favor, but definitely looking a little bit better for Team Solo Mid. Dignitas stuck in this one. 167 on I'm a Cutie Pie to 235 CS of Wild Turtle. So there's a huge discrepancy there. 9,500 gold to 7,400. 2,000 gold in the pocket more of Wild Turtle.
I just want to say about the volley bear bursting down again. If you're not able to actually make use of the passes because he gets bursted down straight by 100%, then he's actually not as tanky as everyone complains about.
Yeah.
What people usually get the locket for is once you get down to that 30% where your passive clocks, then you use the shield. So that shield will give you the extra time for the regen to tick all the way, and you can survive longer. But man, Dignitas, with all that burst damage, they just smashed him into the ground. I mean, Crumb's actually added a good amount onto that. His side-footing strike is up to 120 right now. It's only level 1, but he's been farming it decently.
Another Oracle's picked up by Xpecial here, looking over to Patoy. He does not have one himself, and looks like they are going to start clearing these out towards that Baron Dance. Cutie Pie making his way back to base to get a purchase on, and it's going to be a Sheen, so he's looking at a bit more damage. It's really what he needs right now. If he goes down anymore, is he even on full stack right now? He is, so he is getting full damage from his Bloodthirster. This fight is going to be big for Dig. If they can win this one definitively, it's going to be very hard for TSM to come back for the next 5 or so minutes.
Once he's able to combine that last piece there into the Phage and then the full Trinity Force too, it really adds so much to Ezreal as a full kit, because he can help the rest of the members of his team kite. He can apply kite from slows from a very long range with that Mystic shot, and he just has so much more utility.
Odd One and Crumbs both on your screen. The junglers, at this point of the game, it kind of goes from Crumbs to the mid lane to Scarra. We hear about their calls. The early game is where Crumbs is fed every statistic, every cooldown that's going on, and he calls the shots. Now it's Scarra and Reginald in the game calling the shots, calling what's going on, and these guys just have to make the right calls.
Yeah, and even though TSM, they're ahead in gold right now, in game they don't really feel like that.
Exactly.
Because they can see the scoreboard 7 to 10, and they did just get kind of whipped a little bit there in the last team fight.
Right.
So they've been tamed, and they don't really have that aggressive edge that they were showing earlier. They're contemplating their next move right now. They don't want to overextend at all, because Dignitas have showed that they can definitely punish any mistakes.
Yeah. Well, remember that 2,000 gold I said that was up in the 80 carries? That's the discrepancy you're seeing in that chart right now. So it's not across the team, it's across one person. And if that one person can't do that damage, the gold is even right now.
Yeah, Wild Turtle really needs to make use of his positioning. We've said it so many times on Varus. Positioning is everything on Varus, because without that flash up right now, and he's got a little bit longer on it, he has nothing to reposition with. So he's going to need Odd One to tank as long as he can, make use of his passive, and soak up a lot of damage for Wild Turtle to be able to fire from the back lines.
Kiwi Kid, you can see him starting to make a very big impact in this game. He has the Sunfire cape ready. He's still sitting on that Negatron, as his Hex Drinker was finished quite early to go against Dyrus. He was able to put up a lot of damage in that last fight. A big focus as we come into the next one here. And we'll have to see how Wild Turtle positions for that one too.
I like Scar going with just the straight 2 big damage items, but he does get caught for a little bit right here, able to body slam through the Wraith Wall.
The flip in, it's actually going to be a lot of just face tanking here going in. Kiwi Kid gets drawn out to the Thrush Lantern. It looks like they're going to try to semi-disengage this. He actually flashes one harpoon. They go back in. Dyrus on overheat, so he can only do the Flame Spitter. He engaged that perfectly. Xpecial actually picking up that kill. Crumbs is just kind of forced to run around. They're deciding whether they want in or not, and it's just 2 back and forth. Team Solo Mid is taking advantage of that. A good barrel almost takes down 2, and it looks like Reginald will back off after he hits that. A good fight by Team Solo Mid. They lose no one.
Such a well-played chase right there. Dyrus flashing in as well. And I'm glad that he built more tanky. A lot of these Rumbles just going all offensive would have paid right there. I think Link paid for one of his flashes for a harpoon, pretty much a similar situation. But Dyrus had everyone on the run, so he was very confident right there, and they were able to get another kill off that. TSM members getting out with sub 100 life points right there, several of them in that team fight, and that just goes to show how well it was micromanaged.
I actually think Crumbs had the right idea. He threw down that Spirit Fire and the Tri-Bush Choke. Everybody would have had to walk through that. Maybe the cooldowns weren't up for Dignitas, but it looked like they were all about to sit in a Spirit Fire fight.
Dignitas were just so spread out because Scar initially getting caught right there by the Wraith, and then Kiwi Kid tried to go in too, so they were, oh no, and then Varus has the crowd control coming from the AD carry. It was just a really well played fight from TSM. Now they've got their aggression back. They're ready to go for this Baron, clearing out all the wards as quick as they can. Baron's down to 50%.
Skara throws the barrel over. Reginald finds two, though. Reginald could get taken out in this time, but it's going to be for Baron. It would be worth it. Can he get one more barrel over? The Baron goes down. It does go. Actually, it goes over to Dignitas on this one. They're able to steal it out. Going off of that beautiful job, Kiwi Kid could go down as he throws himself in the fire, and Dignitas holds off what could have been a 4-minute pause button for him, but they may still lose a few. A great dash out of the ultimate. Skara taking down the odd one. Especial with a sliver of health towards the top side of the map, and it looks like they're finally going to back off.
Crumbs with the all-star steal right there. Really well played. They get a Baron buff. You know, they lost 2 people, so it was pretty good for them. Oh, the hook!
Man, I lost all breath right there.
Woo, really on the edge of the seat. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go to the restrooms after this.
Look at this game. 30 minutes in, 11-11, 45,000 to 43,000. Still probably just that gold between the AD carries. It's 2,500 gold in favor of Wild Turtle over Cutie Pie right now. Like we said, if we can take down Wild Turtle, that fight becomes a lot quicker, and really Dignitas needs to position. They were able to get Baron. That was huge there, because that really would have put the game completely in Team Solo Mid's favor. That was the 5-minute wait they were looking for.
And even though they lost out on the global gold of Baron, because Crumbs with an amazing steal, they picked up Dragon. So TSM got a little bit of global gold back with the Dragon, and they evened up the kills. So now it's 11-11. They're a little bit of their confidence back. They're definitely not happy about the Smite steal, but you know, tough break. Scar now with a Baron up, as well as a Death Cap and a Void Staff. That's just full damage, plus he's got a little bit of cooldown reductions on that tiny buy with the Phoenix Codex. It really adds so much to the late game, because he's already got the full power. Now he upgrades it. That's just the 3 main items that he's looking for in his build.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he's just got more Doran's rings. You know Doran's rings are awesome. You got to wear the bling. And he's going to bring out 2 to the table. Zhonya's coming out now, Reginald and Dyrus, as he had that before. That was his second item, and then he goes ahead, turns the Haunting Guys into the Leandries. So it was Haunting Guys, complete Zhonya's, complete Leandries. So he kind of went back and forth there.
That last team fight also gave Dignitas the confidence to grab an Oracles. Patoy actually going to hold on to that one until they decide they need to go for an objective. There's no Baron up right now, there's no Dragon up right now. He doesn't need to pop it yet. He's going to save that just in case, so he can use the extra time from the 5-minute duration, as well as if he happened to get caught out and die, they wouldn't lose it.
Trying to see if the supports are getting in on any of the damage action in this game. It looks like it hasn't been one of those 17 assist support games for either team. So we're seeing the regulars, some mobility boots, obviously for that catch that Patoy has been bringing out so well with the death sentence this game. The Oracles are out. Actually, we do see a Chalice coming out in special, so that may eventually turn into that Athene's.
And the Baron buff, I mean, even though they got off a couple people, they have it on the main damage dealers. Both Cutie Pie and Scar are looking pretty good right now, so they would be happy if they could get a team fight even in the jungle right here. Scar's got great displacement. His ultimate is up right now, so if they're able to spread out the TSM team into an unfortunate situation, they're able to capitalize on that and pick off anyone very quickly.
Setting themselves up right now. They know this turret could be probably taken down. Cutie Pie is trying to get in range, just getting some Qs off, harassing with that Triforce right now, and really they cannot get to the turret. There's just too much clear coming out for these guys. They're going to start just denying those resources in the jungle, try to make it that much harder for Team Solo Mid, but right now they got a great turtle line and they're just trying to wait out Baron.
Yeah, Crumbs made the call there. They're just like, keep them at the turret.
Yeah.
We'll get Cutie Pie their red, and then we'll get Scar their blue. Now we have all of their buffs. We don't have to rush anything. They're playing this very methodical. We took all their jungle. Now we can finish off this turret that we have both red, blue, and purple.
I feel like there's, no, I guess not. They're just going to take the turret. I was going to say they've been here for a while. It does have a few shots, and you could have Nash just push top, but they just had enough throughout the Gragas barrel. Like you said, the buffs are on. It's not going to take that long to come back up, and they'll be set for the next fight.
Yeah, Scar's fine with throwing that out for a turret because he's got his Morel and Omicron plus blue buff. That's maxed out, 40% cooldown reduction. Thing will be back up in no time.
Top lane pushing quite well. Bottom lane is just past river, but not really in an advantageous position just yet. So they can choose to go top or bottom lane. They have that turret, and they're kind of beating a dead horse here in the middle. They've got to just figure out what else to do. That Baron buff continuously just ticking away. Now, actually, off of all members.
Yeah, both teams, this has been a very back and forth game. Neither one of them is supremely confident, so they're taking the smaller objectives. We get your red buffs, we get your blue buffs, we take out the last few HP of your mid turret, and we'll back off. We'll take what we got, we'll take the win, we'll go home, and we'll purchase our items because we need every single small advantage that we can get.
Did he, like, special throwing out the gold? And it looks like he picks himself up an Oracles. I thought he actually drank it, but it just popped twice on there. So it looks like he's got an Oracles for himself, the Shirelias for both supports, the engagement's there, there's safety on the supports. And we're really getting to that time in the game where it's kind of like whatever happened before isn't going to mean much, right? You're almost to your core items. You have what's going to do near max amount of damage in the fight. And it's what you do now. Everything you've done before is kind of in vain. So we'll have to see if they can produce the fight they want. Baron will find in 1 minute and 30 seconds, and it's going to be both objectives at that time.
Yeah, and Patoy did drink his Oracles, so he's doing work clearing out the whole Baron area. You can see Dignitas want to make that vision play. Any team in this game right now that makes a misstep and gets a bad engage could easily lose the team fight. It could go either way right now. He's even taking out the lane wards.
They are getting all the advantages, Kobe. Everything that they want is going to be in their favor soon if they keep playing like this. You can see the 3 wards already in the offensive side of the jungle. TSM hasn't even had the ball on Dignitas' side of the court in the last 5-10 minutes, maybe even 11 minutes. The last time they were near there was Baron.
It looks like they're going to make a nice push up the middle. That ward will drop very easily because he's wearing an Oracle standing right in front of it. But X-Specials popped his own as well.
Everybody trying to bait out a good amount of skills or that high cooldown that would initiate the fight here. And they're also trying to get that poke game in. You can see that none of them really planned for the poke game. This is not a composition that's going to be able to win that. Somebody has to go all in from one of these sides to start a fight.
So the initiation advantage actually is on Dignitas right now, since they do have Scar's ultimate long range, and they also have the possibility of a Patoy hook onto any target. Whereas TSM, they're hoping, for a very nice counter gank, because Sona's ultimate, if you can flash and get a nice ultimate off with a flash crescendo, then that's a good engage, but it's really well used as a counter engage.
And actually, Spirit Visage, I like it, coming out here on Kiwi Kids.
Too many Red Bulls, oh my goodness.
Spirit Visage and Warden's Mail coming out, so he knows he's got to be a tank here, coming in along with Nasus. They know he's seen what he can do in that last fight. Comet Train for me, they know he sees he can do. They know he can do a frontline job right now. Kiwi Kid's at that point. He's got the red, the fort pot to get into this next fight, and TSM is looking for this next Baron. Both objectives are live. It's going to be won and possibly done if it's big enough.
You can see the small things that Dignitas are doing, like Cutie Pie constantly using his ult to clear out the side waves. They are staying around this middle. They are not sending anyone over there because there's no teleport in this game as Reggie goes in.
Reginald going in very hard. He still has that Zonius to pop as he does an equalizer straight up the team, and they're going to try to walk on that as they fight. Reginald could be going down here, tries to get himself out. It does not work as Skara picks up 1. Continuing on to Crumbs and Dyrus. Dyrus goes down first, and Crumbs will follow after. It's going to be back and forth. Minions taking down turrets in the fight too as they get a piece of it. And the odd one now focused by 3. Kiwi Kid to come and close, pinching to one side. Triple kill for Skara.
Oh, tough break there for TSM. You don't really want the back end initiate right there from a Reggie and forcing him to pull his Zanyas and then trying to run away the whole fight. He wasn't able to put out a lot of pressure. He was just trying to get out of there the whole time, even not able to do it with his flash. It looks like Dignitas going for an inhibitor after this inhibitor turret bottom.
That's going to be big for them. They're going to have a good amount of time to just push these minion waves in, and it actually looks like they could go strong on this. Cutie Pie wants to stay in the base. He's got 7 and 13 seconds on the closest here. Nobody's actually going to help him. Looking around, there are 3 sets of home guards, so he's going to try to shift over the wall here and get himself to safety.
Yeah, Cutie Pie there. He's got so many escapes, so he's only one safe enough to stay in that base. Still has his flash and his cleanse up, so that's good for him. Dignitas, like I said, they have the engage advantage right now. TSM, they were looking for something. There's not really a very reliable means of a hard CC engage, and so
Right,
they just
yeah.
got kind of impatient right there, and then there they paid for it. Cutie again taking away the second or the next red buff as well.
Everybody now positioning, getting themselves back in with those oracles, with those items, with their elixirs. You can see Skara blue potted up as well. Actually, is he double potted? I don't think he's double potted just yet. Only looks like the blue one. He's not glowing white. You see Patoy harassing in from the side, letting them know they're there as more ward clearing comes down. This becomes the antsy part of the game where really it's up to one person to get caught, and you just hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and it's up to everyone to not get caught.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
absolutely.
Nobody makes the mistake here, and we can have a good, clean game. No unforced errors, as they say in tennis.
Well, they have to be considerate now. Wild Turtle's Flash, Cleanse are down as of the last fight. The Exhaust is down. Most of the ultimates, all of the ultimates are going to be up for this fight, and the Ghosts are down for the junglers. So there's a bit of initiation miss there, but it's going to be Reginald. He throws the Zonias on instantly. Kiwi Kid is right there, and he's going to run for the back line, but they run for the back as well. Dyrus on the top side, he's going to go. The bottom of the screen is Reginald taking damage now. Wild Turtle is the focus, and Kiwi Kid is not letting up. He could get one more swing down. Completely takes down the back line by himself. The odd one now peeling off for the rest of the group, but it looks like Dignitas is just able to dictate the way this fight goes. Expatrial goes down, loses the Oracles, and Dignitas shows the momentum strong.
It looks like sort of a comp win here. TSM have decided on the engage from Reggie. They're saying, okay, we need to have that. Ugh, there's the surrender.